Oh, it's been a minute since I did this. The default path. The default path is basically, I'm gonna show the logo a bit. This cool hat. The default path is basically you going with the status quo. You following the path that everyone else is taking that is the least riskiest and the safest path there is. And the reason most people take it is because of two reasons. One, there's a lot less effort in taking the default path than you taking any other effort or taking other path. Because if you have to take other pathways, then you're gonna have to use cognitive effort and reassess which pathway is the best and reevaluate. And some people don't even want to bother with doing that. And the other reason is that as humans, we are very risk and loss adverse. It makes sense, evolutionary speaking, why we're that way. So sometimes those things can override our logical thinking and make us go in the pathway that's the most safest. Makes sense. But you have to understand that most people who opt in for the neutral path will more than likely yield suboptimal results. Now, this could be subjective, but like in general, or at least, well, it depends on you. But for me specifically, that will make me have suboptimal results. Because if I let the default path guide my decision making, then that means I will unleash very, very little potential. And later on in life, I will get regretful because of that. And regretful is a very underrated and powerful emotion to have. Because you let the default path affect your life. The circumstances that you don't desire right now are because of you falling into comfort, you falling into the least riskiest, safest path there is. And there's obviously other reasons, but I'm just generally speaking in that way. So let's say like you want to quit your job and you still haven't, and you still have not. And you're unhappy, you're unfulfilled with that job, but you don't quit because you realize that starting a new job, sending out your resume, cover letters, getting rejected, doing tons of interviews is just a daunting task. So you rather must pick the safest and easiest pathway, even though that's not the most fulfilling or most effective for you. Makes sense. And you can't really blame people who fall prey for default paths because, like I said, evolutionary speaking, avoiding risky situations and not taking major losses is very attractive, very seductive. Makes sense why to not do that. So if we can be aware of when the default path is guiding our decision making and we take necessary steps to overcome it, to surpass it, I think we can do real well in life. And there are 3 ways I found through this research. I didn't make this up. I just did own research. I just did like a good 20-minute research and made my own conclusions with it. And 3 areas I found is make space for metacognition. I'll explain each one. Metacognition. What metacognition is basically thinking of your own thoughts, being aware and evaluating your own thought process. That's it's very crucial. Make space for that because in our everyday lives, we're so busy with a bunch of work that we're doing that we never take a pause and ask ourselves why we are doing these things in the first place. So this is all stuff I'm trying to do right now. I haven't perfected this. I'm still doing these 3 things. So first off is set a time, maybe once a quarter or maybe twice a quarter, who knows, whatever you desire. And set a time for like 30 minutes, an hour, and just simply ask yourself where you are in life and why you're doing the things you are doing at that moment in your life. Why am I working here? Why am I with this person? Why am I living here? Why am I like this physique? Why do I have this physique? Why am I eating the way I am? Why am I sleeping like this? Like whys. Asking yourself why on everything. And another metacognition task is journaling. Another one is talking about your thoughts out loud with a partner, with a friend, with a mom, with your dog, with yourself. Like literally just record yourself, and that could be in a way helpful. That's what I do sometimes. And yeah, those are some things for metacognition. You should really look into it. It's very helpful. Is it 100% effective? No, it can also have some negative implications because metacognitive tasks can maybe affect your anxiety, increase your anxiety because sometimes you may be overthinking. So take a balance with it. The second one is practice deliberate decision making. These don't have to be major decisions, but it can be something like waking up every morning, you always drink coffee, but then one day you ask yourself, what other options do I have? What if I just drink water for the next 90 days? How will I feel? And then you do that. So it's basically you being intentional with your habits. And it makes sense because if you're intentional with your habits, you basically are changing your behavior, or you're aware of your own behavior because your habits shape you and your behavior. And if you change your behavior, more than likely you're going to change who you are. And the third option would be follow the decisions of your future self. And your future self is basically the person you admire, your own hero that has achieved the things you desire and makes decisions that are different from where you are right now. But you basically follow those decisions now in life. Basically, you change everything about yourself to your future version self now. And then those things of the future version self over time will come to you now because you're behaving like them, your future version, now. And that's why being intentional with your behavior, your habits will make you alter who you are. And your future version self more than likely will have, since they have achieved the things you desire, more than likely they have reached potentials, have surpassed potential that you would like. In order for you to surpass potential, you're going to have to reach your limits. In order for you to reach limits, you're going to have to do things that are uncomfortable, that are way more than you can handle, aka risk, scary scenarios, major losses, and you take those things. And that is not the default path. So you're following the decisions of your future self will make you, it automatically deters you from the default path. So follow the default path, be deliberate with your decision making, and do metacognitive tasks all the time. And if there's one word to sum up the default path, it's just be intentional with your time all the time. Yeah.